Well, hello out there, and welcome once again to another episode of the Hyperion Adventures podcast. I'm Tom. I'm here, as always, with my wonderful wife, Michelle.
Hello.
So good to have you with us once again. We are recording this episode on Sunday, September 16th, 2018. We appreciate that you found us today. In the future, you can find us on 1057maxfm.com under the Max Plus tab, as well as on the Max FM app. You can also find us on SoundCloud. You can find us on Stitcher. You can subscribe to us, and whenever we have a new episode, it'll come right to you. That's on iTunes and Google Play Music. And please, if you get a chance, give us just a quick rating, maybe a quick review. It really will help others out there that like podcasts just like you like them kind of find us, and it helps move us up the rankings, and and really opens us up to a lot of new future Hyperion adventurers.
Right, and we know that we have wonderful listeners, and you give us great feedback. So if you could put that out there as well as what you've shared with us, we'd really love it.
Yeah, we love our whole Hyperion Adventurer family, and we really want to grow this into a great, big, giant family. We love big families. This would be a lot of fun. So please, 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 if you get a shot, do that for us. We love hearing from you as well. We want this to be an interactive show. We love hearing from our Hyperion Adventurers. You can contact us on Twitter at Hyperion Podcast, Facebook and Instagram at Hyperion Adventures Podcast. You can email us at HyperionAdventuresPodcast@gmail.com, and on the web, HyperionAdventuresPodcast.com, as well as, like I said before, the 1057maxfm.com website.
Right, and actually a little bit later, I will be sharing some information that we received from a listener on our email.
Absolutely. That's going to be fantastic.
Yes.
We're, as I said, an interactive show. You send us input. We are going to put it out there, get your name out there, and whatever it may be, we will discuss it on the show. So we have some fun stuff coming up here on today's episode. Coming up in just a little bit, we're going to talk about our trip up to the Walt Disney Studios lot to see the original classic Mary Poppins. We thought this was just going to be a little small segment, but a lot of stuff happened up there, including a screen or a sneak peek of Mary Poppins Returns, which we are going to look to share with you. And
oh my God, it was amazing.
Give it away already. We'll tell you more about it after our first segment here, but we'll get to that in just a little bit. The main topic we're going to talk about this week is for those of you who love Southern California parks, if you love Disney, well, then you've probably been to the Disneyland Resort. We've been there many times. We're annual pass holders, and we are going to start this series that we have coming up here that's going to be our top 5 favorite things. And we're going to start that off, our first episode of that series, with a look at the Disneyland Resort.
That's right. We figured since we're hometown people here out in the West Coast now, we will start with Disneyland for our local listeners.
That's right. For those of you who joined us through the Max FM website, for those of you even on the East Coast that mostly go to Walt Disney World, the Walt Disney World Resort, maybe you don't go to Disneyland very often or haven't ever gone at all. So we're going to tell you what we enjoy about the Disneyland Resort, and we would love to hear from you what your favorite things are about the Disneyland Resort. And we'll be continuing this series on not every episode continuously, but every once in a while we'll be dropping in one of these, our 5 favorite things about this, or 5 favorite things about that. So you can look forward to more of those in the future. But let's get to it. Our main topic, the top 5 things at the Disneyland Resort. We're going to count it down one by one. Michelle and I made different lists. We have not compared them, so this will be interesting to see where we are alike, where we are different, but I'm sure this is going to be a lot of fun. So we'll start with number 5 from Michelle.
Okay, well, thank you. All right, so my number 5 for top favorite things when going to Disneyland Resort, we've actually talked about it at a previous podcast, but it's taking a ride on the double-decker bus down Main Street, USA, and being on the top deck. You just get a different view of the park. It's just, it's a little thing, but it's fun, and it enhances the experience and the feeling there at the park. So I really I prefer starting it out that way, but it's also very cool taking it back because you get to see the other side of the street.
Yeah, I love that too. I didn't make my list, but that is a great thing. If you haven't never done it before, I know we talked about this a few episodes back.
Right.
You get into the park, you're trying to rush to your first attraction, you're trying to rush through, get some food, you're trying to rush to this. Sometimes just take a little moment to slow down, go down Main Street in one of these vehicles, and especially the double-decker bus, which is amazing because you can go at the same kind of level on a lot of the other vehicles. But when you go up to the top deck of this double-decker bus, and you can see a lot of the words, the names on the top of the shops, and these are the people that created Disney and the Disneyland Resort, and it gives you another viewpoint, just as you said. So I like that idea.
Thank you.
That's a very good number 5. Didn't make my list, but I could see where it could be on there.
Nice.
My number 5 is the Nightmare Before Christmas, the haunted holiday overlay at the Haunted Mansion. I love this time of year. It just came out a few weeks ago.
Right.
That is one of my... I like a lot of the holiday overlays that they put on, whether it be Halloween, whether it be the holiday season out there at the Disneyland Resort. But the Haunted Mansion just excites me so much when it comes out. 1, I love the Nightmare Before Christmas. 2, it's just cool to see all the different stuff they add, how intricate it is, all the different Jack Skellingtons, and it's so cool. And then my favorite thing is when you go around the corner to where the ballroom scene is, and you just get this waft of sweet gingerbread, and it just comes up and overwhelms you. And then they have they do it every year. They do a different gingerbread house every year in the middle of that ballroom, and so it's fun to see what the gingerbread house looks like from year to year. And we're excited. We're going up in a couple weeks to do all the Halloween stuff, and we can't wait to check it out.
Right. And that sort of made my list, too. I'll talk about it a little bit more in a second, but you're absolutely right. It's, the traditional Haunted Mansion is a lot of fun, too, and we love that. We rarely miss that when we're up there, but yes, there's just something special about that holiday one, and I love how it really kicks off the Halloween season, but it certainly blends well in with the Christmas holiday. So it is just kind of a great multi-seasonal experience.
Absolutely. If you haven't been there before, they kick it off usually in late August, early September, run it all the way through the end of December, sometimes until about the first week of January, because it is a Halloween/Christmas setup.
Right.
So it can get through both holidays, but it's a lot of fun, and it's something I look forward to every time we go out there. So that's number 5. On to number 4. Michelle.
All right. Number 4 is getting a Dole Whip and people watching.
Oh, yes.
And it's never too early in the day to do that. In fact, mornings are a great time because you get to avoid the long lines that can build up, especially on the hot times of year, the summertime of year. So having a Dole Whip and just, we a lot of times get a seat over at Jolly Holiday outside there and just people watch. Also they're great to have when you're watching, the Enchanted Tiki Room too.
Of course.
But definitely not to be missed is a Dole Whip.
Yeah, we enjoy doing that. We go and we'll go and hit a couple of attractions right off the bat, especially if we're there at Road Drop. A couple of attractions right off the bat, and then the Dole Whip station will open there, and we'll pick that up. And since we've already hit a couple things, it's time to take a slow down, take a little break, and a Dole Whip, and people watching, like you said. That is great. Didn't make my list, but very good thing, and I like that as well. My number 4 is storytelling at the Royal Theater. One of my favorite things to do, and we never miss it. Every time we go there, we have to stop by to see storytelling at the Royal Theater. Now, if you don't know what this is, it's a live show that consists of the retelling of the stories of Beauty and the Beast and Tangled throughout the day with the help of both Belle and Rapunzel.
Right.
Respectively for their shows. But what really makes this show great is the hosts, Mr. Smythe and Mr. Jones.
Right. And the piano player. Which his name escapes me right now, but I love him too. He's great. They share. It's a kind of a vaudevillian act in many ways. If you know of vaudeville, that's kind of what they do. The Mr. Smythe and Mr. Jones play other characters within the story, across from Rapunzel and Belle, depending on the storyline, and it's hilarious. It's still as touching as the movies you see. When the movies we all love. But it's so fun, and we've watched it numerous times. It never gets old. We know the whole thing. It's relatively interactive. I mean, one of the things that we gain for it is that whenever something good happens, we say huzzah. Huzzah!
And huzzah has come directly from the storytelling at the Royal Theater. So that's at the Disneyland Park if you're looking for it. But I can't recommend it enough. It is one of my favorite things, my 4th favorite thing at the Disneyland Resort.
And I couldn't agree with you more because actually that made it to my number 3.
Ah, well, that was kind of perfect.
Right. And actually, I cheated on number 3 because I did a twofer.
Oh.
I did a seasonal transformation of Haunted Mansion and Small World.
Okay.
I would put those as my number 3, kind of 3A. And the 3B team would be the shows at the Royal Theater. Because you're right. They are a lot of fun. They are interactive. It just kind of, if you're not having even maybe the best day or whatever, you just sit in there and you can't help but laugh or start, you get into the clapping with everybody.
It makes you smile.
It does make you smile.
It's a smile-rific show. It's great.
That's right.
That's a word, smile-rific.
Smile-rific. Hashtag.
So that's your number 3?
That's my number 3.
3 and 3A and 3B.
Right.
3 and a quarter, 3 and a third.
Well, I
and a
figured
half.
the seasonal transformation things are not year round.
That's true.
So
yeah, no, I agree with you. I like that too. And I'm glad we kind of agree on that. And that is one of our favorite things. And you will see us there often when we're at the parks.
Right.
My number 3 is going over to Disney California Adventure Park, and that is Cars Land. Is my third favorite thing. The entirety of Cars Land, because I think it was one of the first truly immersive lands that Disney created. Like when you go in there, and you've seen the movie Cars, like that is Radiator Springs. When you walk down this street, everything is almost in its perfect place.
Right.
When you see the movie, 3 of our favorite attractions are there.
Right.
Radiator Springs Racers, of course, is great.
yes.
But Luigi's Rollickin' Roadsters, the Mater's Junkyard Jamboree. By the way, those 2 rides also do a holiday makeovers, both for Halloween and for Christmas as well. So we're looking forward to seeing those coming up here in a couple of weeks. Also, one of our favorite restaurants is there, which is Flo's V8 Cafe, which is great comfort food goodness, just delicious stuff that we enjoy very much for breakfast, lunch, dinner. I mean, we don't go there. I mean, that's not like we just don't eat there the whole day.
Right.
We like meals from that place.
Although maybe we do that one day.
Just park it at Flo's and just sit there. It's actually fun because you can sit outside and you can watch the racers go by, which is really cool.
Right. I was just going to say that it's also a very great location for people watching as Flo's. You can get something to eat and go in the backside, like you said, where you're watching the people watchers.
Nothing wrong with the front. I mean, you can't people watch at the front, but go to the side. And some people just kind of don't. There's usually some seats open on the side. It can be, and it's relatively shady. But the racers go by, and there's that track there that goes in between Pacific Wharf and Cars Land. There, people are walking by. It's really a great point to just take a breather, have a meal, and just enjoy it. And the Radiator Springs Racers backdrop is just spectacularly beautiful. I mean, the forced perspective there. I mean, it makes it. It's right there in front of you, but it makes it look so massive. It's great.
Exactly.
So, and then at night, the way it lights up with all the neon is wonderful too. An experience when they actually flip the switch and turn it on it's amazing.
Right. I couldn't agree more.
So that's my number 3. On to number 2, Michelle.
Okay, my number 2 is stopping off at the Tasting Terrace, also in California Adventure. I should have started with that. But it's really a great way to sit back, relax, and enjoy the surroundings of just being at the happiest place in the world, right? It's magical. And, it's one of those times in your life that you can be sitting there. They have great wines. That's where they feature the Disney family wines, which we thoroughly enjoy. They have some small plates there. But, just taking a moment, stopping, listening to the sounds, enjoying the music, and realizing that right at that moment, you have no worries. You have nothing that you need to do at that moment. It's your time to just have a wonderful, fun experience. And so it's one of the few places that you can really sit back and kind of be on the outside looking in, or down, I should say, because you are on a second level. You're across from Cars Land. You can generally, I know we've spoken about this, you can oftentimes hear the Mater ride there too.
It's one of the songs, though. It's funny. Only one of the songs really cuts through. It's interesting.
I know. But it is, you kind of get a bird's eye view of a lot of the other parts of the park. And it's, like I said, you just kind of sit back and enjoy it. Enjoy a glass of wine if you so desire. They have other
some good food
Right.
too. If you just want to eat, you can have. There's other beverages there too. They also have beer.
Right.
But it really is a great place. The alfresco tasting terrace, and we discussed it a couple episodes ago.
That's right.
It really is a nice place to be in the park, but kind of away from the park. So you can just kind of take a breather. It's just a nice, calming little pit stop during the day that we enjoy.
And the cast members up there are amazing. They're wonderful. You know, they're very, you know, obviously in their job in providing the food and the wine, but they're just very friendly to talk to. And, you know, that's another thing that's great about Disney, whether you're talking Disneyland or Disney World, is, you know, really having those conversations with the cast members, because they love what they do, and it really, their passion also comes through, and it makes you feel good to have that human interaction.
Absolutely. It is a spectacular place, and highly recommend it if you go there. Especially if, I mean, you can bring kids too, but if you're just a couple adults on a date night or a date day or whatever, it's really great for that, to just kind of sit in, you know, a table for two and sit and talk, and it's a little quieter than some of the other places in the park, but. Very good. And didn't make my list, but I had it on my other things that almost made the list.
Gotcha.
My number 2 is The World of Color.
Right. Good one.
Yeah, this show is I was thinking it over as I was making this list, and I think it is my all-time favorite nighttime spectacular in any park, whether that be the Walt Disney World Resort, Disneyland Paris. We haven't been to any of the Asian Disney parks yet, but as far as California, Orlando, Paris, I think this is my favorite. It merges visuals from numerous Disney classics with music, light, color. They put up these sheets of water and they project it onto them. And then they have these jets that shoot water up to 200 feet high. And yes, there's even some fire that mixes in every once in a while.
Right.
So, you know, if you're getting the misted on a little bit, it warms you up a touch. It's just amazing to watch. It's amazing the technology they had. When they kicked this off a few years back for the first time, we were just wowed by it, and we still love it every time. Unfortunately, it hasn't been open since April for refurbishment. They thought they were going to open it about a month ago.
Right.
But I guess they're having a little more problems refurbishing it, so it's taking a little longer. They still say they expect it to open later this year, and when it does, we're going to be there. And we love it, and we love being there right up front. And even if the mist is coming on us, it's great. It's such a good time.
That's true. And you know, I love how they do keep it fresh. They change it from time to time. So, you know, it is great. That is a good one. That didn't make my list.
Yep, I understand. So that's through number 2. Now we go on to our number 1. 5 favorite things at the Disneyland Resort. Michelle, your number 1.
Okay, my number 1. Can I do an A and B again?
Oh my God. Yes. Yes, absolutely.
It was hard to choose.
I know.
It was hard to choose this one.
I know. We're all winners.
I know. So I'll say, originally my number 1 was Cars Land, just like what you said. It's just a great vibe to be there, to be fully immersed into that experience. But I had to also kind of rethink about some of the things we've done more recently that are newer, I should say, and that is the Paint the Night Parade.
Oh, I love the Paint Night Parade.
Right, and especially what we've enjoyed is when we've done the Sonoma Terrace reception. And so I think I gave that one maybe the little edge above Cars Land, just because I love the music, I love the floats, you know, sitting there, you know, having a little bit of refreshments and having a front row seat there. I mean, not that it's bad to see that parade anywhere in the park, but you know, I would say that experience, that whole package experience is probably my number 1.
And we talked about that. We experienced it, and we talked about it in I think it was our second episode that we ever did of this podcast. We had gone up and did this, and we kind of reviewed it, told you what it's all about. So if you want to go back and check out what we had to say about it earlier, you can go back to our second episode. You can find us anywhere you find our podcast. You can find it there. But really great. That's a great parade. Yes. I also like when the Main Street Electrical Parade is going again. It will probably break out at some point again. I don't know when, but
I hope so.
A lot of nostalgia for that one. But yes, the Paint the Night Parade is the modern version of that.
Right.
And it is a really spectacular show.
And I love getting that song in my head. It's one of the few times that it's okay having that song just over and over in my head.
Sorry.
Okay. I don't know if anybody picked that up.
You should say I did a little dance with it too. You had to be there. We have to get this thing on like Facebook Live. Or
Right,
something so
exactly. Or maybe not.
Moves I make, my little white man move here.
Trust me, I just saw it.
It was glorious. Glorious.
Huzzah!
I should be on Dancing with the Stars.
Exactly.
That's what you're talking about. Anyway, I love that pick. That's a great number one pick, or 1 in 1A pick.
Right,
whatever.
right.
My number one pick, and this is kind of, I'm going to start it with a single thing and just expand it out from there. My number one thing at the Disneyland Resort is Walt Disney's apartment.
Oh, yeah.
Above the firehouse.
Right.
We got to visit
That's
that.
fantastic.
You can only go visit it if you're on one of the tours. I believe it's the one that specifically does it is the Walk in Walt's Footsteps tour.
Right.
But you can always pass by it and see it as you're going down Main Street. Another thing to take note in, it's right above the firehouse. You can see it up there, at least through the window. But I'm going to expand this a little more. Really, the Disneyland Resort and Disneyland Park especially is the one place where Walt actually took footsteps into when the park was open. He rode a lot of those attractions that are there, some of the older ones. It has his, as all the Disney parks do, but especially the Disneyland Resort and Disneyland Park has his fingerprints all over it. And that's part of what that tour tells you about. And it's that's the thing with me is that, yes, when you go there, and we were talking with somebody yesterday at the screening about going to the Disneyland Resort for the first time and how tiny things are, because if you're used to the Walt Disney World Resort, things are larger. You go to Disneyland Resort and you go to Disneyland Park and things look a little smaller because of that. Well, it was amazing what he did together. He built this thing originally in a year, opened it up.
It's crazy.
And it is, yes, it's tiny, but it is his fingerprints all over it. It's Walt. It is Walt's park. Yes, he worked towards, expanding his dream into Walt Disney World Resort, but the Disneyland Park is his park, and so that's the thing. But specifically, if you get the chance, go up to Walt Disney's apartment, and even if you don't get the chance, just go pass by, look up at the window, see that the light is always still on for Walt as a tribute to Walt. That light is always still on. And just notice that the light is on and just, maybe give him a little hi or a salute or whatever, because this would not exist without Walt Disney.
Right. This and all the other parks and all the other wonderful things. I totally agree with that. And corny as it is, when I do take the moment to take a look at the light, I do get a lump in my throat.
Of course. Every time.
Every time, because it is, an homage to a fabulous genius who created something so wonderful that we can all enjoy and really have wonderful family and even just our own memories because of him. So.
And going up there and being in that apartment and just, you're just sitting there. It's actually a really small place. But just thinking, there was Walt on this side. There was Lily, his wife, on the other side, and you
the
just
kids.
See him with his family there and just being so happy to have been there in this park that he created and seeing the joy, looking out the window and seeing the joy from his guests there. It's really electric, and it really touches you when you walk into the apartment. So I highly recommend, if you get a chance, do the tour, go check out the apartment.
Right. And, like you said, it's tiny, but it's amazing. All the very modernized things that he had there. I mean, the shower. I don't want to give too many things away for people, but check that out. But yeah, it is just really great. And I'm going to brag here. I got to ring the doorbell.
Yes, you should have seen her. She was like up the stairs, I want to be first up there. She was pushing people out of her house. She just happened to be first, kind of.
There were no injuries.
But she was, she jetted up the stairs, and they said, "You can ring the doorbell." And she was so excited.
Oh my God! Yes.
Again, I got Disney fans.
Definitely choked up and teary-eyed just to be able to do that.
So nice. So that's our 5 favorite things from the Disneyland Resort. Please send us what your 5 favorite things are, and we'll share them on air next week or in the coming weeks. We'd love to hear from you. A couple of things that didn't make my list that were close, especially at the bottom. I was shuffling things in and out. Was that stuck at 5 for the longest time that I finally took it off near the end was the Matterhorn bobsled.
Right.
Because of the fact that, for one thing, it's turning, I think it's 55 years old. No, 60 years old coming up next year. But it was Disney's first mountain. I mean, if you think about the mountains, Space Mountain, Splash Mountain, Big Thunder Mountain, if you want to count Expedition Everest in Animal Kingdom Park, this was the first. This led to all of them. I'm not as crazy about the ride. I find the ride a little jerky, but it's just amazing to think about. This kind of led to giving birth to all those other mountains, and it also was interesting. It was the first ever to use a tubular steel track, a dual tubular steel track from any roller coaster, which is like standard now.
Right.
And it was also the first to have an a computerized sort of system that allowed two cars on the track at the same time. So,
right.
it was groundbreaking in many ways. It looks pretty simple now. When you ride it, it seems pretty simple, but it was groundbreaking 60 years ago.
Exactly, and that type of technology advancement continues throughout all the parks, so that's really cool.
So I wanted to make some special appreciation for that, even though it didn't quite make my list. A couple other things that almost made my list. The cauliflower sandwich at the Red Rose Tavern we talked about a couple of weeks ago. Love that. We talked about the alfresco tasting terrace. You've never gone on it yet to this point. Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout, I think, is a very interesting ride. Fascinating. I love Guardians of the Galaxy. I love Marvel. There's some people that still will be nostalgic for the Tower of Terror, and you can still do that at the Walt Disney World Resort at the Hollywood Studios Park. But I love Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout, the music, the whole story. I love it. The holiday overlays in general, just all of them. Small World Holiday. The ones, we were talking about Luigi's Rollickin' Roadster, Mater, all the different holiday overlays to the park. I love how they change things up as you go through the year at the Disneyland Resort. The one other thing I wanted to hit on is, and I know that there's something similar to this at the Polynesian Hotel at the Walt Disney World Resort, but Trader Sam's Enchanted Tiki Bar is one of our favorites. We hit it up very often over at the Disneyland Hotel. It's just really one of our favorite stops.
Right. And maybe we need to do a top 5 out of park experience.
True. We can do that too. Believe me, we're going to get, after about a year, you're going to be sick of our top 5, our 5 favorite things. You're going to be like, these are our 5 least favorite things, or the top 5 favorite things. Now, we're going to be hitting up a lot of these. And if you have some ideas that you want us to do our 5 favorite things, also you can email that to us, and we will add it as one of our main topics for one of our upcoming episodes.
Absolutely. In reflecting back, I didn't necessarily leave some things off the list, although I guess I just didn't take the time to think about that. I'm glad you did. But one thing, once I had my list set up, I realized that it was all about experience. My list was, I do like all the attractions and things like that, but I realized my list really wasn't that. My list was mainly about going there and having a fabulous time, and how that park lets you do that,
all the Disney parks do, but we really love the Disneyland Resort.
And that you can have different experiences on different days. Some days you feel very Star Wars, and you kind of gravitate towards those experiences, and other times you might be Marvel or more traditional, and so you have all that. But it's really wonderful that we have that place that we can have those great experiences.
And the good thing about the Disneyland Resort, as opposed to like the Walt Disney World Resort, is you can go into the parks and you could think you're going to feel one way, but you get there and you're feeling another way, and you don't have to travel a long distance to change your thinking, because it's all right there. Well, that's one thing we've talked about in the past, and how close everything is together, that you can really experience so much in such a short amount of time at the Disneyland Resort. So.
Right. And it's like you said, you can change your mind, or you can just all of a sudden have a desire to eat a certain food that's at a certain restaurant, and easy peasy.
Yeah. I mean, a little bit of a trek. You put on, walking back and forth on those parks, you can put on a good 13, 15 miles in a day with no problem, but it's all worth it. And
you do that for food.
It's all worth it at the end. And it allows you to have that extra helping of whatever.
Exactly.
So, all cool stuff. It allows you to have that extra corn dog, by the way, Corn Dog Castle. Good.
That is true.
Hand-dipped corn dog.
That
good
is
stuff.
true.
That could have made my list too. Good stuff. Okay, so that's it. Those are our 5 favorite things at the Disneyland Resort. Now let's move on to what we teased earlier. And again, I thought this was going to be a very small segment, just like, we went up here. It was fun. See the movie again. It was great being on the lot. But no, there was so much more to unpack here than I expected. It was our trip to the Walt Disney Studios lot yesterday on Saturday. When it was at the 15th of September, to screen the original classic Mary Poppins.
It was, like I said earlier, it was amazing. And I'm anxious to hear, I know you shared some of your thoughts on our drive home, but I'm anxious to hear some of the things that now that you've had to process it a little more that you liked about it.
Right. So I've got a lot of things to say about this. It was a great trip up to Burbank. We go there. We've gone to the lot a few times for various different. This was a D23 event. We've talked about D23 in the past. You can go back to past episodes where we talk about D23 if you want to hear about it. We have lunch at a restaurant that we love. That's about a couple of 2-3 blocks away from the studios there. It's called Simsey's. Great. If you're going up there, it's a great place to get a burger, a beer, a soda, whatever you want to do. But it's a really nice little pub kind of place nearby. So.
Right. And when you get there, it might not look all that wonderful, but trust us.
Yeah.
It is amazing. And it's really nice inside. And, and a lot of times we just sit outside because they have some nice tables outside as well. And it was a cool enough day that we could do that yesterday.
It was nice in the shade, a little breeze going by. It was really nice. So we did that. Then we went to the studios, got in, checked in, went into the theater. Which is right in the middle. It's right across from the old animation building. There's a new animation building that's a little bit farther away. The old animation building with the signs there. Went in, sat down there. Maybe they gave us each a popcorn bucket, a bottle of water, which was nice.
Right.
We could snack on that. And then we had a talk from a Disney historian and former Disney ambassador, Stacia Martin, who we've heard from before. She was on a Disney cruise that we had done at one point.
Right.
She has great talks about a lot of things historic, Disney related.
Right. Her life story is interesting as well, but it is great that she has so many wonderful stories, whether it be about the movies or about the books or about the music, just about the parks. She is a wealth of knowledge, and her passion comes through in her presentations, and we are always loving them.
Yeah. She talked about this specifically. She talked about a few things, but specifically she talked about how the music that was created for Mary Poppins didn't all make it to the movie itself, but some of it was reused, kind of recycled into different ways into different Disney movies and TV shows, including Bedknobs and Broomsticks, which doesn't surprise you. David Tomlinson also in that, The Happiest Millionaire, and even the TV show from the Disney Channel, Welcome to Pooh Corner. I don't know if anybody used to watch this show, but it was, kind of the characters in the suits.
Right.
As the different, as Piglet, as Eeyore, as Rabbit, as, of course, Pooh. And one of the songs there they didn't even change it. It was the exact song, and Pooh is singing it there.
Right,
it was great. We saw the clip of it. It was funny.
And there was one also from The Jungle Book.
That's right. There was one that was transformed. I forgot about that one. There was one that was transformed, changed slightly, that was used in the Jungle Book as well. So good stuff. If you ever get a chance to see Stacia Martin talk, she is really, really interesting.
And one thing that was really surprising me, blew me away yesterday, was that she sang one of the songs that didn't make it in. And I never heard her sing before, and it was amazing. And I regret that we didn't have the video playing at the time to capture that. But she had a lovely voice, and it was the Mary Poppins song that was to be sung as she was packing up and leaving. Yeah. So
saying goodbye to the children, or not wanting to say goodbye to the children.
Right. Not wanting to leave. So.
Right. Really interesting. She's multi-talented. I mean, not only is she this historian, now we find out she can sing, but she's also an artist. We actually have a piece of art
That's right.
And sometimes she will do these presentations, and she will draw characters. And we actually were lucky enough to win one of those at one of her presentations.
Right. And then she signed it.
Yeah.
Personalized it.
Yeah. It was a really cool thing. But she, like you said, multi-talented. She also told us about how this movie was shot entirely on the lot in Soundstage 2, almost entirely. If you go there and take the tour, they'll show you where Soundstage 2 was. I think there's still actually a bicycle outside that kind of is somewhere. I have a picture of it. It was left over from the set. It's nearby there. But the movie's sound was mixed right in the theater we were in to watch it. So she said that this is the perfect place to be screening this movie because this is where they actually mixed the sound.
Wow. Right.
Which was cool.
Which also made this so much nicer or more like, wow.
Yeah.
Huzzah. Knowing that where we were watching it was where it was recorded, where it was filmed, and that made it even so much more special.
Absolutely. And it was also special is that this is the first time I've seen it, numerous times, DVD, Blu-ray, whatever.
Right.
This was the first time actually getting to see it on a big, not my big screen TV. I mean, a really big screen. And oh my gosh, it was so magical to see all this come to life on a bigger screen. The Jolly Holiday supercalifragilisticexpialidocious scene was just beautiful out there. All the animation from that scene, wonderful. Step in Time is one of the best, if not the best ever dance number in any movie. Definitely a Disney movie, but almost any movie I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And it really captures it on the big screen.
Exactly. It was great seeing it that way. Mm-hmm. Yes, I totally agree with you.
But here's something that got to me, and it was near the end of this film. And I've seen it before, and I've seen it and enjoyed it, and I understand it, and I especially know after Saving Mr. Banks came out, knowing that this movie was supposed to be not about saving the children, it's about saving the family, and especially Mr. Banks himself. But when Bert talks to Mr. Banks at the end of the movie and kind of, discusses with him like, hey, this is what this is all about. It's about your family. It's not about this work. How could he kind of discusses it with him. It reaffirmed so many things to me of why we love Disney.
Right.
Right there in that one small little scene. And we talked about this earlier when we broke down Christopher Robin, the movie that just came out this last year. Some people question why we regularly vacation with Disney, talk Disney so much. That's why we had to get a podcast, because we talk Disney so much. People are tired of hearing about it. Well, not really tired, but we just needed another way to express it so we weren't completely driving everybody crazy. And that we own so many Disney-related items, and we're almost always wearing something Disney during the day. At some point, we're wearing Disney right now as we speak. But what he said in this and what came across in Christopher Robin is almost the same thing. Life is hard a lot of the time, okay? We work tedious jobs. A lot of us do. Some of you have great jobs. Doesn't mean it's not tedious at times. Family difficulties can be tough. Other difficulties can be tough. What's wrong with every once in a while going out and celebrating the child inside you again, and getting out there. And I think everybody needs that from time to time. Some of us need it more than others.
Right.
But I mean, really, you go out there, have a good time, whether it's seeing through your children's eyes or through your own eyes again, being a child. That's why we love Disney. Disney does that to us. Every time we talk about it, every time we visit, Disney is very special to us. And I think that both Christopher Robin said a little bit of that, but Bert really spoke it really well near the finale of Mary Poppins.
Right. It's so interesting that you said that, because I, too, have watched that movie, because our son loved it when he was a toddler.
You can maybe hear in the background, by the way. He's humming away to some stuff in the background.
Probably seen it hundreds of times. And like you said, seeing it on the big screen was phenomenal. But I also noted that, too, that I didn't take notice of that ever before in watching the movie. And as much as, obviously we do owe credit to Mary Poppins for kind of putting the dad in situations where he would have to interact differently with the kids, that it was really Bert who brought through the wisdom to change Mr. Banks' perception. And, I don't think I ever noticed that before, that it really, that monologue that he did, or however you want to call it, was phenomenal and was really what changed things or made things happen with Mr. Banks.
It gave me much more. I mean, I love Dick Van Dyke in this movie, but I was always for most of the, his moving, some of the pratfalls he make, the dancing, stuff like that, and you throw out the kind of, bad accent that he tried to pull off there. But it was still great in the movie, even despite the accent not being quite up to snuff. But seeing that scene again, and I don't know why it was the big, like you said, you've seen it so many times, the big screen really brought it to life. And it just gave me a whole different respect. I love Dick Van Dyke. Don't get me wrong. Well, not like I didn't love him in this movie before,
I love him.
But it elevated it to a different level after seeing that scene. It was magical, for lack of another word.
Right.
Really loved it. Fantastic.
Yeah. If you ever get a chance, even just to rewatch that segment, I would just to re-see that now and like, wow, it was very touching.
Yes, it was so good, and loved it. If it ever comes out on the big screen again, I can't recommend enough you going and checking it out. It really gives it, if you have never seen it on the big screen, as most of us have not, really.
Go ahead. No, I was going to say, it was also interesting when you're talking about if you get a chance to see it on the big screen, that it came out, they said, in 1964, and audiences were, really wanting to see it again, that they brought it back out in 1965. And I think that was very unique to that movie at that time.
At that time, especially, and it was tough at that time because you wouldn't get the chance. Obviously, there were no videotapes or any sort of home video to watch any of these movies. But the demand was so spectacular for it that they had to put it back out in the theaters again.
Right.
And watching it for the first time on the big screen. Well, not that I always wanted to watch it at home, but seeing it on the big screen. I mean, and the music is fantastic. The Sherman Brothers, that is maybe the best piece of work they've ever done.
Right.
So great. So, okay, we teased it long enough. Now, also came to this was a sneak peek of Mary Poppins Returns, which we were kind of excited about. But let me tell you what, after we saw this sneak peek, I wish it was December already.
Right.
Because it was amazing looking. Okay, it started off, here's how it went down for us. They said, okay, we have something special for you, a surprise. They didn't tell us we were going to see this going in. We kind of wondered maybe they might do something. I didn't know if it was going to be a trailer or whatever, but it was a whole sneak peek at it. It was introduced by one of the production assistants. We couldn't have our phones out or anything for this. So I wish I could have taken notes of her name. I didn't have a notepad with me or anything to take her notes of her name, but she was great. She told us that this movie was all shot in London. I think we kind of knew that, unlike the original Mary Poppins, which was shot there on the Burbank set. This was all shot in London. They have new writers for the music, but however, Richard Sherman did come in and kind of consult with them, kind of guide them in a way to make this music be very much like the original Mary Poppins, which was good to hear.
Right.
Emily Blunt, according to this production assistant, said that she didn't want to be an exact copy of Julie Andrews' Mary Poppins.
Right.
So she's read all the books, she took it all in, and she's going to put her own spin. I think when you're seeing her in the movie, you can see the original Mary Poppins somewhat through there, but it's a slightly different portrayal of it. But I think it's good. I'm looking forward to seeing what she brings to that character. I don't know about you.
Yeah, definitely do. And, you're talking about the Sherman Brothers, that was their original, the original Mary Poppins was that. First of all, I'm getting off track here, this is not a remake of Mary Poppins.
Is a new, there are many Mary Poppins books and this is a different
storylines from, and, but the little bit of the music that we did hear, definitely, I could see that influence.
Oh, so much. Dick Van Dyke does make an appearance in this. He's, what did she say, he was 91? Is he 91?
Yeah, or 90-something. Yeah, it might have been more than older than that.
Yeah. She said he was full of life on the set, which was fantastic. And we did see a clip of him in just a really quick flash, but you could definitely tell it was Dick Van Dyke on there. And as well as a couple other big name celebrities made some quick appearances in there. Very interesting, and we were kind of wondering about this, is that, as you know, from the original Mary Poppins, one of the famous scenes is, we talked about a little bit ago, the Jolly Holiday supercalifragilisticexpialidocious scene that uses the animation, the classic Disney animation. So there was a question of, are they going to bring that to this movie too? And the answer is yes, they are. Spoiler alert. Sorry, I said it after I said this, but yes, they are. They actually went out. We learned this there. They went out and brought some of the 2D animators out of retirement to draw these scenes. And we saw a few of these clips really quickly through this sneak peek.
Right. And they had to do that because it's a technique that's not used anymore. So they didn't really have people out there to go to who had experience other than the original, some of the original animators.
So it was really cool. And the bottom line, the whole clip was I just sat there with my mouth agape. It was a wow.
Right.
Completely a wow. If you've listened to this podcast before, I have a man crush on Lin-Manuel Miranda. Well, that was the biggest part of this scene, was him coming out as Jack the Lamplighter, sings a fantastic song.
Right.
I mean, it would have fit right into the old Mary Poppins, the original Mary Poppins. I believe it's called Trip a Little Light Fantastic, was, I believe, what the song was called.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Scenes that we saw, breathtaking, the dancing, the singing, it's Mary Poppins. It really is. Only more modern. It has the 2D animation, which is interesting, so it's old school, but there are a lot of modern techniques that are thrown in with a lot of the clips that we saw. Magic. It was magic. It was just as magical, at least in this clip. Now, it was just a, 4-minute clip.
Right.
Maybe
so I think that's about right.
5-minute clip. it had all the magic in that clip that we've seen in the original Mary Poppins.
Right. I think I had shared with you on the way home. It's like I wanted to see that movie. I knew that just because it's, a new Disney movie and Lin-Manuel's in there, so I figured it had to be kind of good.
He's
they need
got a little talent.
I was going to say they need somebody with talent to these things. Oh my God, the guy's a genius. But anyway, after seeing that, it's like you said, I think you captured it well. I wish it was ready to be released now because I can't wait to see it. It's just phenomenal. And I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of other Easter eggs that I'm sure are going to be in there. Yeah.
It's going to be fantastic, at least by the looks of this clip. I have higher expectations than I kind of was concerned before, but I don't think they would have released this movie if they didn't really feel they had the storyline and everything. Because, they don't want to, take down the legacy of the original Mary Poppins at all, kind of taint it in any way. So I think they really wanted to find a movie and stars in this movie. That's why they got Emily Blunt, who is very talented. She's a great actress. We saw her sing in Into the Woods. So we know she can sing as well. So bringing her in, and of course, Lin-Manuel Miranda is wonderful.
He could be Bert's brother.
It's great.
There were a lot of mannerisms that were very similar. He wasn't trying to be Bert, I know that, but just in terms of the parallels to the original movie, he really had a lot of the mannerisms down, and some of, how he looked was, some of the facial expressions reminded me of Bert.
And it looked like they were leading into, I don't think we saw the whole thing of this song, but it looked like they were leading into something similar to Step in Time, with the dance scene similar to that. Really good. I think the good thing about this is that even though we just saw this clip and it was kind of just for us at this screening, I think that this will probably be the clip or something very similar to it that, I don't know if you know, but if you go to the parks, a lot of times they'll be doing some sort of preview screening for some of their movies that are coming out. I would bet that this is the exact same clip you're going to see at the parks coming up here within the next month. Month and a half, very soon leading up to the release of the movie, which is coming out just before Christmas.
It was interesting after the show, then when we were outside, chatting with some people, and Michael from D23 was saying that was the first time he saw that clip, that he had seen a trailer.
Oh, wow. That's right.
But this was the first time he saw it, and he was also blown away, and, just you could tell he was just so giddy with it.
Yeah, we posted his picture. If you saw him on there, Michelle posing with him. He was in a chimney sweep outfit out there. He looked great. All the D23 people came dressed up. A lot of them ready for the role, ready for the excitement. Everybody, it was a lot of fun. D23, we recommend it to everybody. You can go back to our episodes before. I'm not going to get totally into it here, but if you want to hear about D23, please go back a couple episodes where we talk all about it. A couple other things. Speaking with this, will lead right into our news segments, our Disney Stories of the Week segment. Some things that we learned while we were there that are happening. And I heard a little bit about this earlier this week, but just to reaffirm it, there's going to be screening on the lot, just like we saw Mary Poppins on the lot. Coming up on October 27th, they're going to be screening Hocus Pocus for the 25th anniversary of that movie coming out.
Nice.
That's going to be on the lot. If you're interested in that, if you love that movie, as many people do, tickets for that will go on sale to Gold members and Gold family members of D23 this coming Tuesday, September 18th. So the screenings, this is our first movie screening that we've gone to there, and we enjoyed it. We talked to some other people that were at this theater that have gone to a couple other ones. They enjoy the screenings as well. And you always come away with a little gift. We got a little pin, which was cool, the popcorn bucket. And it's just cool being on the lot. So.
Yeah, we'll send out a picture of the pin because it's really cute. It was made for this.
Specifically for this screening. Really cool stuff. Other thing they announced there was that there will be screenings across the country in various cities of Hocus Pocus or The Nightmare Before Christmas. They're calling it the Spooktacular Anniversary because both films are turning 25 this year. The thing is, you get to vote on which movie you're going to see in your city. Now, here's the cities that they're going to have these screenings and the dates. Orange, California, right here in our own backyard, October 6th, they're going to be screening it. Emeryville, California, up in the Bay Area, October 6th as well. Seattle, Washington, October 7th, they'll be screening it. Boston, Massachusetts, October 13th. Chicago, Illinois, October 14th. Orlando, so those of you near the Walt Disney World area, that will be at Disney Springs on October 20th. Dallas, also on October 20th. Phoenix, Arizona is the last one. That will be on October 21st. So all leading up to Halloween to celebrate the anniversary of these two movies.
Right. And the voting is open now.
And the voting is open now. So if there's one that you prefer over the other one, that this is the one you want to see, get out there and vote for your favorite one and go out there and try and get tickets to these screenings. Should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Should be a lot of fun. So that moves on from there to the rest of the Disney stories of the week. As you know, or maybe you don't know, maybe this is your first time listening to us, every week we go through our Disney stories of the week. So many stories out there. If there's a story that you ever want to cover, please contact us. We will talk about it. We have, I believe you have something from a listener that we'll be getting to a little bit later in the Disney stories of the week. But I'm going to start off here with a story that broke this week. Walt Disney Company was named the top regarded company this week by Forbes.
Nice.
Yeah, very good news. And I think we all agree that Disney should be regarded very highly.
Right.
Not the top regarded company. We love it. So this is based on the company's reputation to be trustworthy and fair, which is nice to hear.
Right.
It's moved up 4 spots from last year's inaugural list. This is the second time they've ever made the list. It topped Hilton, who was number 2, Ferrari, which was number 3,
wow,
Visa, which was number 4, and PayPal, which was number 5.
Nice.
So good for the Walt Disney Company. Yeah,
huzzah!
Good for them. Huzzah! As we go back to storytelling. Next story we're going to the Walt Disney World Resort will soon be opening. Oh, this is one I wanted to tell Michelle about because she's going to be so excited and she's going to go home and book this for us for our upcoming trip here in a few months.
I have no idea I don't have any idea.
She's going to book this. Believe me. Trust me.
Okay.
She's going to say as soon as I announce it, she's going to be like on the computer. We're going to lose her because she's going to be on the computer trying to book this. The Walt Disney World Resort will soon be opening up a new tea experience at the UK Pavilion in Epcot.
Yes.
So this story comes from us from our friends at www.newstoday.com, who we go to through a lot of our stories. They're great. Follow them if you want to get Disney stories regularly. Starting on September 28th, you'll be able to experience a full morning tea service at the Rose and Crown Dining Room and Pub.
Nice.
The experience is offered on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays at 9:45 and features Twinings teas, of course, which is very prominent there.
Right.
Scones and sandwiches, and you'll also learn the artistry and history behind growing, blending, and making tea.
Wow, that's amazing. They used to have a tasting. I mean, not a tasting. They used to have a tea service over there in the afternoon, and I've gone to a lot of different teas. For those of you who don't know, I love
tea.
I love tea. Yeah. I've been known to be called. I've been called a tea snob.
No,
I own it.
No, what's this bag?
I know.
Please get that away from me.
But
I only do loose leaf.
But for Disney, I will do a bag. I've done that before there. But it was great. So, yes, yay. I'm so excited.
See, I knew it. She's already on the computer booking right now.
I am going to be calling my mom, and we're going to be going over there.
There we go.
Yes.
Cost is $30 per person, and you can make advanced reservations where you normally make it on the Disney Reservations hotline.
That's awesome.
Probably online as well. The new offering, they think from this the WDW News today, they think that they may have started offering it because the popularity coming back from the Flower and Garden Festival, which we saw there. We did the walkthrough tour, but there was actually a guided tour of the Royal Garden and Tea Tour, which also offered scones and things at the end of it, tastings of tea. So because of that popularity, I think they decided to bring this to it. So we're looking forward to doing that.
Absolutely. Yay.
That'll be fun. So that's now here's the next thing that she's going to be on the computer booking as soon as we're done with this show, if not before. Coco is returning for a limited engagement at the El Capitan Theater in Hollywood, California.
Yes.
So I almost brought this story out last week because Coco is returning for the Dia de los Muertos in Mexico, but because we only have a few listeners in Mexico, I didn't think many of you were traveling to Mexico to go see the movie. I didn't add it as my story last week, and we were like, oh, I wish they were doing it here. Well, the story comes out this week that they're going to be doing it here. So this is the story from thelaughingplace.com, another great site to get Disney news. The Disney Pixar film will run from September 27th to October 7th at the El Cap, which is the theater that they regularly debut all their movies. It's Disney owned, great theater, old school theater, right in the middle of Hollywood. Prior to every showing, this is straight from thelaughingplace.com. Prior to every showing of the film, guests will dance in their seats and sing along with exclusive Disney Junior on-screen content. This is themed from one of their Disney Junior shows, Vampirina, who I guess is very popular right now. We've seen that there's a lot of character meetings with her going on for Halloween. Upon entrance and exit to the theater, guests will also be able to take a picture with Vampirina and receive bat ear headbands while supplies last.
Wow.
Additionally, now this is also more on the Coco sign. The Mariachi Divas, who we've seen before playing out at the Paradise Garden area.
At California Adventure.
And let me see if I can get this right. And the Ballet Folclórico de Los Angeles. Ballet Folclórico de Los Angeles. I hope I got that even close to right. They will be performing live on stage on these showings from September 27th to the 30th and October 6th and 7th there at the theater. So that's fun.
Wow.
If you're looking for tickets, and she's going to the computer right now, the tickets for the El Capitan Theater can be purchased at elcapitantickets.com.
Don't give it out. It's for us.
Or by calling 1-800-DISNEY-6, or you can just go to the box office. But I'm sure that a lot of these showings will sell out, so you might want to get your advance tickets when you get a chance, and that's fun. And I'm sure we're already planning a trip to go see it.
Absolutely. And I don't know if you know this. I've never been in that theater.
I actually never have either. I've been by it. You actually haven't even been by it.
No.
I've been by it. I've been to Hollywood. She's actually never been into Hollywood herself. She, if you don't know, and then you can go back to our episodes and learn more about us. She grew up on the East Coast and the Florida, mostly some in the Massachusetts area, but also in the Florida area. And I kind of moved her out here to California. I mean, suffer and go to California.
I know, right?
But we had planned a couple of trips to go to Hollywood once in a couple times, but it just, for whatever reason, it hasn't worked out. But she's actually never been to walk down through Hollywood and see the Walk of Fame.
Right. I mean, I've been out towards there
and everything.
So. Our Universal Studios.
Right. Yeah, you've been all around it. Burbank, Universal, Pasadena. It's like you made a circle all around Hollywood there.
I'm moving inward. I'm moving into the circle to the target.
So that may be your chance to go do that and go check out that area. Other Disney news came out this week, and this was according to the Disney Parks blog originally. The Earl of Sandwich, which is a very, very popular sandwich spot. You know what? It's at Disney Springs at the Walt Disney World Resort. It was also at the downtown Disney at Disneyland Resort. It's going to be returning. It closed down in June when they started to plan out the building of the new hotel that was going to be taking part in the Disneyland Resort.
Right.
However, as many of you know, and we talked about a few episodes ago, that has been stalled. They've put a hold on building that. So for the time being, they are going to reopen. They're going to reopen the Earl of Sandwich, which is a favorite among a lot of Disney fans out there.
Yes.
So
we like it.
Yeah, we like it. We go there, and it also offers it's a more inexpensive place to pick up a sandwich, something quick, especially if you're staying at the resort. And they're closing some of the restaurants down there temporarily. We talked about it last week, the Saratoga Terrace, and they're doing some stuff with Whitewater Snacks out there. So the food is going to be a little tougher to get at some of those hotels around there. So this will be an easy way to get some food. According to the Orange County Register, they don't have a definite reopening date right now. At least they didn't announce it. But they believe it could be open as early as the 1st of October in the downtown Disney district. And it's the same spot it was located before. No word on how long it will remain open. It just could depend. One thing it could depend on is what happens in November's elections, because we talked about it before. They don't have exactly a Disney-friendly city council right now. We'll see what happens with the elections going forward. And that could maybe decide what happens with a possible Disney hotel, and whether they just end up going forward with that or not. So we'll have to see what happens. But good news for at least the time being is that if you loved Earl of Sandwich and you're and going to Disneyland Resort, downtown Disney, it's going to be open. You can get your favorite sandwich again.
Excellent.
Yes. So let's see. Let's get one more story in here because we're running out of time. One more story, and then I want to get to your listener story. There's a rumor that we could be getting our first trailer of Captain Marvel this week, which is the new Marvel film coming out that really people know it's going to lead into Avengers 4, the yet untitled, well, I'm sure it's titled, but yet untitled as far as we know, Avengers 4. Brie Larson faked us out about a week and a half ago by tweeting, "Hey," at EW, Entertainment Weekly, I'm bored, want to break the internet tomorrow. A lot of us thought we were going to get a trailer at that time. What ended up coming out was a lot of pictures from the film. Brie as Captain Marvel in her suit, in her we sought to see the Skrulls, who are believed to be the enemies or the bad guys in this one. We got to see another possible bad guy in this one, a glimpse of Ronan, who you may remember. Ronan from the original Guardians of the Galaxy was the baddie in the original Guardians of the Galaxy. He's going to be in this movie. We also got to see a picture of a young Nick Fury, because if you don't know, this movie is going to be set in the 1990s. So it's young Nick Fury, using some of the technology they did with Michael Douglas, with Kurt Russell in some of the movies to make them look what they looked like when they were much, much younger. So we got those pictures. Now it looks like we may finally be getting the trailer, and a key possible sign for this actually going to be happening is that Brie Larson is scheduled to appear on ABC's Good Morning America Tuesday morning, September 18th. It would be my bet, and many people's bet out there, that is when we will finally see the first trailer for Captain Marvel.
Yeah, that would make sense to have it there.
So that's exciting. So
very cool.
Looking forward to that. So that's it for my Disney stories of the week. But you have something from one of our listeners. We love hearing from our family of Hyperion adventurers. So what story do you have for us?
Right. And so kind of rounding out the end of the Disney news stories of the week, this actually came out this week. But we were alerted to this from our listener, Tom O. in Massachusetts. And we do really appreciate getting that email.
Your old stomping grounds.
That's
way back
right.
when you were a little thing.
I know.
You're still a little thing, but when you were a littler thing.
So, according to BBC News, there was some researchers, Dr. Mark Mitchell and Dr. David Wartinger. I hope I said that right.
Wartinger,
something like that. Yes. They did a study on the effects of roller coasters on kidney stones. It's true. They really did a research, and the inspiration of that research came after one of their patients returned from a holiday trip at Disney World, and they reported that their kidney stone became dislodged after riding Big Thunder Mountain. So these professors, these doctors, were really captivated or inspired by that story. So they built a silicone model of the renal system, including artificial kidney stones.
We thought renal would come up on our Disney podcast at any point. But that's good.
Right. And they carried this on to numerous rides, and they found that Big Thunder Mountain worked most effectively than any other roller coaster, even Space Mountain or Rock and Roller Coaster that, have those drops and everything. So they concluded that because Big Thunder Mountain has more up and down and side-to-side movements that rattle the rider, that's what had the success of dislodging the kidney stones.
Wow.
I know, right? So if I ever have kidney stones, there's not much that these professors are from Michigan State. There's not much that would bring me up to Michigan, but this I would go there to get a work note with the prescription of you must go to a Disney park to have your condition
That's
cured.
it. You need a doctor's note to go to.
That's right.
Go to either Disneyland Park or to the Magic Kingdom to get this taken care of immediately.
Right. You got to go to your boss.
You just got to go on it over and over and over again to make sure it's all done.
So you go to your boss. You say, "Look, this is what the doctor ordered." Technically, and really, that's what they ordered. And that's also one of the other times that you can be away from work and tweeting or posting that you're at a Disney park instead of being at work, and technically you shouldn't be able to get in trouble.
Yes. So who knew? I mean, I knew that we go to Disney parks for our health, for our mental health, or whatever. But now it's for our physical health.
Right. So and this was an authentic research that was done.
Actually, he won what is called an LG Nobel Prize, which is interesting. I never heard of them before, but when researching this after our listener sent this to us, it is a sort of a spoof prize thing, but it's all based in real medical research that actually is effective. Right,
and things that are research but are humorous too.
Right, so it's kind of a takeoff on the Nobel Prize. It's the LG Nobel Prize, but it won this prize, and it's fun. And yes, now I know I haven't suffered from kidney stones to this point, knocking on the board here.
Right,
because I go on Big Thunder Mountain.
Exactly. And I did like, too, about that presentation is the awardees can only make a 60-second speech, at which point they have an 8-year-old girl come on and continually say until they wrap it up is, please stop, I'm bored.
I'm bored. Bored now. Move along.
But Professor Wattinger, even at the award, showed off his Big Thunder Mountain T-shirt that he bought when he went out to the parks to do his research and testing.
Awesome. So that's great. What a great story. Thank you, Tomo.
That's right.
What a great story. That is fun. That's a lot of fun. I love it. So that's it for the Disney stories of the week. We hit them up. There's so many stories. There's another one I couldn't get to. We're way over time here because we had so much to talk about this week. But we never leave any episode of the Hyperion Adventures podcast without giving you a tip for your possible next vacation, whether it be Disney Cruise Line, whether it be the Disney Parks, whether it be Disney Vacation Club, Run Disney, whatever it may be. We always have a tip for you to close out this show, one from each of us, but we always start because she has the best tips and because it's always ladies first. So here is Michelle's tip of the week.
Well, thank you, sweetie. So my tip is if you have not done this yet, and you can do it at Disneyland or Disney World Park, is to check out the nightly flag retreat ceremony.
I love that.
Right? And, well, first of all, it kind of happens, it's like 4:30-ish at Disneyland and around 5-ish at Disney World. And I say ish only because they do have actual times, but it's seasonal, so you need to find out that in it. They post it online too, or you can find out at the park what time specifically. But anyways, that's kind of a convenient time too, because you may be wanting to head out either to go to get ready for dinner or, go back to your resort and rest a little bit before coming back out for nighttime fun. But anyways, it's a really great ceremony. People start gathering around Town Square, a few minutes, maybe 5 to 10 minutes beforehand. And they really do try to involve the veterans, and it's great to go out there and you'll see them there as well. But it's the Disney band gets involved, plays patriotic songs during the lowering ceremony. They do also a veteran salute with different military songs as well. And, sometimes they actually coordinate to have a guest veteran participate. Mm-hmm. And if they
sometimes a few of them.
Right. And if they do that, they'll give them certificates and pictures and pins. So it's really nice that they do that, And again, kind of like what I was talking about in our top 5 is it's part of the experience of being there. And this is a time-honored tradition at the parks, and it, again, it's a way to stop and reflect on the day, reflect on, what's wonderful that we do have here available to us. And so I would recommend that. If you haven't done the flag ceremony, the flag retreat ceremony is what it's called. It's a really good thing to try out.
Yeah, absolutely. And it also, I don't know if you mentioned this in here, but the Disney band usually shows up there.
Right.
And so do why am I not thinking of their names right now?
Dapper Dans?
The Dapper Dans. Thank you. I can't believe I froze on the Dapper Dans of all things because I love the Dapper Dans and we'll stop and watch them anytime they're performing.
I know. I will tease you about that forever now.
Maybe I just had Lynn still stuck in
That's
my head.
right. No doubt.
Anyway, it's great. The whole thing is wonderful, and every time we can happen to be around there at that time, we stop and take a few minutes to watch the ceremony. It's wonderful.
Right.
It's
Another
wonderful.
Time where you can get a little choked up.
Absolutely. As many times when you go to these Disney parks,
Exactly.
I get choked up at everything.
Yeah.
So it's easy on me. I get choked up at every single thing
Likewise.
I do. So, great tip. And once again, Michelle always has the best tips. My tip is going to be very simple this week. I knew we were running a long time, so I wanted to do something very quick for my tip this week. I'm going to tell you how, when you're on a Disney cruise, whenever you're on your next Disney cruise or your first Disney cruise, how you can assure that you have a cup of coffee ready for you first thing in the morning when you wake up. It's one of my favorite tips to give anybody who's going on a Disney cruise. I can't believe I haven't shared it up to this point. But anyway, here's how you do that. I mean, of course, you can go upstairs and get the coffee up there, or you can go to the dining room and get coffee. But maybe you just got up and you're in your pajamas or whatever, and you just want to relax on your balcony or in your room with a cup of coffee first thing when you wake up in the morning. Here's how you do it. The night before, when you go to bed, you're going to be hungry, I know it, especially if you've had early dinner seating, as a lot of people do with the kids and everything. By the time you get to bed around 9, 10 o'clock, whatever, you might be a little hungry and the kids might want a little something. So go order some room service. Mickey bars, Mickey Premium ice cream bars, right from room service, right to your room. It's great. It doesn't cost anything extra except for maybe a little tip for the room service attendant that brings it to you. Warm chocolate chip cookies, those come to you. Hot cocoa, lots of things that come to you. But when you do that, whenever you're ordering something, the all hands on deck plate, whenever you order something to your room at night, order one of their pots of coffee with it. Now you think, okay, well, I'm ordering my pot of coffee at night. What's it going to be like in the morning? It's cold coffee or whatever. No, these pots they use these great thermal pots.
Right.
That will actually, it won't be piping hot in the morning, but if you seal it up and leave it there, it'll be nice and warm still in the morning. You can open it right up, pour yourself a cup of coffee first thing in the morning. You're good to go until you get to breakfast, whatever it may be. It's my simplest tip, but it's one of my favorite tips for Disney Cruise Line.
Right. That is awesome. I hadn't thought of that tip, but you are absolutely right. We've done that numerous times. It always works. Like you said, it's a great way to wrap up the night is having a little second dessert after dinner. But yeah, it is amazing how that pot of coffee can stay warm enough to enjoy, your first cup in the morning. Right. So great tip.
Keeps you from having to go out. And if you want, you can order like a pot of decaf for the night, before you go to bed. If you want to sip a little coffee out on your balcony or whatever it may be, and then a pot of regular coffee, caffeinated coffee for the morning, whatever it may be. It doesn't cost anything extra to do this, by the way, except for, like I said, $1 or $2 tip for the person. And you don't really need to do that, but it's kind of nice to do for these people.
Right. And the reason you want to do that versus ordering it in the morning, which you can, is that room service in the morning is very, very busy. I mean, you can order room service the night before to come at a particular time range. You can also call in, but it is a busy time, and so you might have to wait longer than you might want to. So here, you wake up, you have your coffee, then you can get up and get some fresh stuff as
and
you go
you may have wake up earlier than your room service time is and don't want to wait for the coffee, whatever it may be. It's a simple tip, but it really is an effective one, and I highly recommend you do that next time you go on a Disney. If you're a coffee lover, if you're a real coffee lover, I mean, let's face it, the coffee is mediocre at best for most of the. If you're a real coffee lover, go up to the Cove Cafe. That's where they have really, really, really good coffee. Right. But if you just are fine with just a regular cup of coffee in the morning, do this order from room service the night before. Really is magical and helps you out. Thank you. So once again, that's it for another episode of the Hyperion Adventures podcast. We went way long because we had so much to talk about this week. We have so much to talk about every week, and we can't wait to talk about it again next week with you. If you want to go back and listen to some of our past episodes, you can find us in the same place wherever you found this one, and go back and track us down. You can follow us on social media, at Twitter at Hyperion Podcast, Facebook and Instagram at Hyperion Adventures Podcast. We have a website. You can leave a comment there. We'd love to hear from you. HyperionAdventuresPodcast.com. You can email us at HyperionAdventuresPodcast@gmail.com. Maybe you have a great tip like we just shared with you. Mm-hmm. We'd be happy to share that with our other Hyperion adventurers out there and give you full credit for it, of course. Or if you have a story you want to share with us like Tom O did, or if you want to comment on one of our stories or whatever it may be, please send us a message. We'd love to hear from you. We want this to be a very interactive show. You can find us as you found us today, you can find us on the 1057maxfm.com website under the Max Plus tab and on the Max FM app. You can also find us on SoundCloud and on Stitcher. You can subscribe to us on iTunes and Google Play Music, and we will come right to you. As soon as our new episode is published, you'll get a little announcement. You'll know we're there, and you can just go right to your phone or device, and we will be right there for you. And if you get a chance, please just give us a little quick rating. Even more so, if you have a little more time, give us a quick review. It'll really help others just like you that love Disney, might find this be an interesting podcast. It helps them find out who we are and recommend us to them.
Right, absolutely. And we really would appreciate that. So
that's it. Next week, by the way, I haven't gone over this yet. Next week, we're having a Mickey Mouse party. Yeah, we're going to celebrate Mickey's birthday a little earlier. You figure the Disney parks are starting to do their ramping up for the Mickey Mouse's birthday. Well, we're going to ramp up for Mickey Mouse's birthday by having a Mickey Mouse party right here on the air next week, and we're looking forward to sharing that with you.
It's actually a D23 Mickey Mouse party. So, and for some of our local listeners, we've invited them over here to
We're going to have our first show with a live studio audience, so we're looking forward to that. It's
Pressure is on.
Pressure is on, so looking forward to that. So please tune in to us next week, and it should be a lot of fun. So That's it for this week. Thanks again for listening. We really appreciate all our Hyperion adventurers out there. Thanks for listening to us, as you always do, for interacting with us, for just being friends of ours. We love you all, and we can't wait to talk to you again here on the Hyperion Adventures podcast. So once again, I'm Tom.
I'm Michelle.
And we hope that you have another magical week.
Bye.